Hello, and welcome to ENI UK and Europe edition. I'm Giancarlo Matera, reporting from London. We'll be bringing you news reports from around the United Kingdom and Europe. And we have live reporters on standby, ready to give you their reports. On our program today, supermarkets struggle to stock their shelves amid a virus pingdemic. 54.7% of European adults are now fully vaccinated. And the first of our live reporters joining us today is Aron Celestino. Hello, Aron.
Hi, Giancarlo. Today I'll be reporting about the Royal Albert Hall in London, which will celebrate its 150th birthday with a star-studded concert. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Aron. Also joining us from Switzerland, we have John Kevin Glauser. Hello, John.
Hi, Giancarlo. Thank you. I will be reporting today about free summer sports activities in Geneva.
Okay, thank you so much, John. We also have a report from Cyprus, where news of wildfires that have hit Cyprus. This report will be brought to us by Susan De Los Reyes. In our health section today, we have another episode of our Get Fit with Aron. This week, it's on how to avoid overeating over the weekend. For our sports section, we are joined once again by our sports reporter, Ryan Florentino. Hello, Ryan.
Morning, Giancarlo. I'll be reporting on Lewis Hamilton's victory in the British Grand Prix.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And then we will end our show, as always, with our view from our window. This week, it's coming from the beautiful summer there in Nice, France. Now our main headlines again. Supermarkets struggle to stock shelves amid virus pingdemic. The British supermarkets and suppliers have warned on Thursday of a possible food shortage due to staff self-isolating, as the rising coronavirus cases threaten chaos after the government controversially eased all restrictions earlier this week. With millions of workers and school kids currently forced to stay home under COVID-19 tracing rules, in what has been dubbed a pingdemic, after the phone app used to contact or ping people who need to self-isolate. Various industries are starting to suffer. Newspapers showed photographs of empty supermarket shelves on Thursday as missing staff at stores as well as supply chains hit retail operations, with some even being forced to close. The government on Monday eased all virus curbs, including the legal requirement to wear a face mask in certain settings and social distancing rules, just as new cases are surging towards level not seen since the peaks in January. Prime Minister Boris Johnson argues that the country's vaccination program, which has jabbed nearly 70% of adults with 2 doses, allows for the relaxation of the measures. But the surge in infection, averaging nearly 50,000 a day during the most recent weeks, has led to a dramatic increase in people told to self-isolate by tracing officials from the National Health Service. Boris Johnson, Finance Minister Rishi Sunak, Health Secretary Sajid Javid, and Opposition Labour leader Keir Starmer are all among those who are currently isolating after being contacted. The Prime Minister is under pressure to widen the list of jobs that are exempt from the isolation rules, but has so far resisted and kept exemptions tightly restricted to only key workers in critical industries. Meanwhile, the government has been criticized for compounding the crisis after providing mixed messages on the need to stay home. While some ministers have insisted people must isolate if advised, 2 business ministers this week noted there is actually no legal requirement to isolate if they are pinged by the NHS app. Only those contacted by the separately run NHS Test and Trace service must stay at home for 10 days by law. The public already appeared increasingly skeptical of the isolation rules following the easing of restrictions, with reports many people are deleting the app or ignoring advice. A poll on Monday reported half of Britons said they were unlikely to self-isolate if they had a negative rapid test after coming into contact with someone with coronavirus. In Europe now, 54.7% of European adults are now fully vaccinated. The European Commission announced on Thursday that 200 million Europeans are fully vaccinated. That also means more than 50% of the adult population. However, the rate does not still meet the 70% target that was initially set for the adult population this summer. In her statement, the European Commission spokesperson said that we are now among the regions of the world that have vaccinated the most, but it's important that this progress is distributed in a more balanced way so that there are no pockets where the virus can spread and mutate. The vaccination rollout in the region was criticized for its slow progress in the beginning of the year, mainly caused by supply shortages, but the vaccine orders for all 27 member states were coordinated through the European Commission. The region has confirmed having enough doses to vaccinate at least 70% of the adult population this July. Okay, it's time for a break now, but please come back for some more ENI UK and Europe edition.
Nothing is quite as simple as it seems. To understand the world better, we need to take a closer look. Experience knowledge. Tomorrow today.
Events happen around us all the time. In our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced, eagle news, because we live in interesting times.
Welcome back to ENI UK and Europe edition. Now for some more interesting stories from around the United Kingdom and Europe this week. The Royal Albert Hall turns 150. And to give us more details on the celebrations, we are joined today by Aron Celestino. Hello, Aron.
Hi, Giancarlo, and yes, London's beloved Royal Albert Hall concert venue on Monday celebrates its 150th birthday with a special anniversary show, as it aims to preserve its diverse artistic offerings. The imposing historic building is expecting a full house for the first time since the start of the coronavirus pandemic, inviting 5,000 spectators to attend en masse. Craig Hassel, Chief Executive Officer, shares his thoughts about the milestone celebration. Let's listen in.
We have a nickname that we're known as the nation's village hall. So that's a very British thing. So it's almost like the sort of the meeting place in the village for all the locals. And that really is what it has been ever since it opened. So I think for the people of Britain particularly, but also people from around the world, it's a place where every artist that appears on the stage here and every member of the audience, they feel so special to be here, and yet everyone's welcome. It doesn't have that sense of
Inaugurated in 1871, the Royal Albert Hall has hosted the biggest names in classical, pop, and rock music, including Wagner, Antonin Dvorak, the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, Pink Floyd, and Lady Gaga, as well as sumo wrestling competitions and ATP tennis tournaments. Chief Executive Craig Hassel told AFP that they pride themselves on the diversity of genres they have. And if there were just a classical music venue or just a rock and pop venue, it would be disappointing. He also added if it's boxing, it will be the best boxing in the world. The finest orchestras on the planet perform here. We'll also go for the best in every genre. The concert hall has also provided the backdrop to films such as Alfred Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much and historic events like Charles de Gaulle's speech to London-based French compatriots resisting Nazi Germany during World War II. Inspired by Rome's Colosseum, the building's eclectic nature goes back to its founding goal, to be a forum for the democratization of ideas and learning. It was never designed to be elitist, said Hassel. Giancarlo?
Thank you so much, Aron. With the difficult situation now faced by the concert hall industry due to the pandemic, how is the Royal Albert Hall planning to cope with these new challenges in this new world?
The Royal Albert Hall, which makes most of its revenue from ticket and drink sales, has lost £60 million due to the pandemic and its closures. But there will be a series of celebrations set to last until the end of 2023, which will include major commissions from British artists, headline acts from musical legends, and showcases promoting the next generation of talents. As Hassel said, it has been devastating to be closed for such a long time, and he would hope that in 150 years, however high-tech the world becomes, they never lose that live performance and the excitement of that human interaction. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Aron, for bringing us that report on the progress of live entertainment here.
Thank you for having me today. Reporting from the United Kingdom, I am Aron Celestino. We live in interesting times.
Okay, we go to Geneva, Switzerland now, where summer is enjoyed by many, not just for sunny walks, but also for many sports and fitness activities provided for free. To tell us more about this topic, we're joined by John Kevin Glauser. Hello, John.
Hi, Giancarlo. Summer is synonym of vacation and a lot of free time for most of us. And what's a better way to spend our free time than by taking care of our health with fun? This is what the city of Geneva proposes to its inhabitants by offering free sport classes throughout the summer of 2021. This is the second consecutive year that the sports service of the city organizes physical activity, and this year they will take place from July 5 to September 12. There will be more than 400 classes in 37 different disciplines that are classified in three main categories. The first one is called La Canopée, with activities for relaxation and well-being, and that are more family-oriented. The second category is the Summer Pod, for 18 years old and over, where professional coaches will lead the participants in classes like silent Zumba, urban training, fit boxing, and many others with different intensity. The last category, at La Pointe de la Jonction, is more ideal for teenagers, where urban emerging sports like street football, parkour, slackline, or street workout will be hosted. There will even be classes reserved for female participants to highlight women's sport and promote these new disciplines. This program is open to everyone with sporting activities for people of all ages. The only things needed from the participants are their free registration to the activities they want to participate to, their personal equipment depending on the discipline they choose, and lastly, to respect the safety protocol and health standards in regards with the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. That's the update from Geneva, Switzerland. Back to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you so much, John. Can we ask, what are the different classes, how are they organized in terms of the restrictions on the number of participants and any health restrictions?
Yes, so the participants have to register either online or directly at the venue. So this will allow the organizers to know how many participants there will be and this will also allow them to limit the number of participants to make sure that the safety protocols and the restrictions can be respected.
Okay, thank you so much, John Kevin, for joining us today and giving us that update from Switzerland.
Thank you for having me today. I'm John Kevin Gloser, reporting from Geneva, Switzerland, and we live in interesting times.
Okay, it's time for another break now, but please come back for some more E&I UK and Europe edition.
Pinag-uusapan ang mga technopreneurs dahil sa paglaganap ng internet, pero dahil nasa agrikultura ang solusyon sa kahirapan, kailangang maipauso na rin natin ang agripreneurs. Isa sa mga nagpapalaganap ng kahalagahan ng agripreneurship ay ang Go Negosyo. At para lalong maunawaan ang kahalagahan ng agripreneurship, makakasama natin ang Senior Advisor for Agripreneurship and Mindanao Programs Head ng Go Negosyo, Ms. Kingay Montiveros Malvar.
Digitalization is a great democratizer. It really equalizes the playing field at saka yung opportunities para sa mga tao. Ang dami nagbebenta online. So how will you make yourself unique? How will you make yourself attractive?
All these in this episode of Open for Business.
Welcome back to E&I UK and Europe edition. I'm Jakarta Matera. Now for some more interesting stories from around Europe this week. Cyprus has been hit by a destructive wildfire. Susan de los Reyes has the report. Let's watch.
The Mediterranean island of Cyprus was hit by a wildfire. The deadly wildfire is said to be the worst in Cyprus history. The blaze destroyed 55 square kilometers of forest and farmlands and burning electric posts and power lines. Pine trees, olive and orange trees, and vegetation farms were burned. The fire that started at 3:30 p.m. on July 3, 2021 was controlled and completely contained on July 5th when Cyprus appealed to nations for help. Among those who responded were Greece, Israel, Italy, and the UK, providing firefighting aircrafts of the British Royal Air Force from the sovereign base area of Akrotiri, Limassol. The President of Cyprus, Mr. Nikos Anastasiades, visited the area in pledge to provide immediate assistance to the victims and their families. Aftermath of the wildfire, we can see massive burnt mountains, 12 houses were burned, and businesses as well in some villages. Cyprus government is trying its best to help the people to recover. Cyprus Electric Company started to rebuild destroyed electric posts and power lines. Major factors that lead to this massive fire destruction are strong and high winds that fan the blaze over areas of pine trees and dense vegetated shrublands. Because of high temperature in summer that Cyprus was experiencing over the week as high as more than 40 degrees, and little rainfall contributing to dryland allowed the fire to spread rapidly, that resulted to a tragedy as told by the President in his tweet. Reporting for Eagle News International from Cyprus, I'm Susan de los Reyes. We live in interesting times.
In today's health section, Aron Ortiz, a professional coach who specializes in fat loss and fitness, takes us on a journey to gain self-confidence. Today, he has tips on how to avoid overeating over the weekend. Let's watch this episode.
What is going on, Aron here. Today I'll be going through on ways on how to avoid overeating over the weekend. Now, are you someone who tends to do pretty well with your nutrition and your exercises from Monday to Friday? But when it comes to the weekend, right, Saturday, Sunday, you tend to go off plan with your nutrition and also your exercises as well. Whether that's you going to your friend's house or going for a meal out. And then when this happens, you tend to start feeling down or start feeling negative because you do this week by week. And because of this, you tend to not get any results at all. Now, if this sounds like you, then these 5 tips will be able to help you to break out of this cycle, right? So the first one is managing your calories and also planning your week as well. If you know that you are going out on Friday and you have these high calorie day because you're going to your friend's house or you're going to a restaurant, planning your days around this will be a lot helpful for you. So maybe that's Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, that's a little bit lower calories. Therefore, when you go out on Friday or Saturday, that'll be okay and you won't feel guilty because you know that you planned it. Second one is letting others know, right? If you let others know, that means that will hold you accountable to stick to the plan. So letting others be aware that you're in a plan and you also trying to achieve something will keep you accountable for you to be able to stick to the plan. So they're most likely to actually support you. And we got your third one is eating mindfully. So taking your time to eat. For instance, if you are bored, for instance at 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. you got nothing to do and you crave something. That means you can actually eat that food, but set a rule that you have to not be distracted when you eat this food. Or whether that's you turning off your social media or not watching a telly when you eat this certain food. Fourth one is preparing low-calorie snacks. So for instance, if you are bored again, but you don't actually want that high-calorie snacks that you want to have, right? You're just bored. Then that means having a low-calorie snacks to go for will be able to be helpful for you. Whether that's watermelon, which is 30 calories for 100 grams, celery, fat-free yogurt, these things will be helpful for you when you are bored or you are craving something. So these low-calorie snacks will be helpful for you. But again, if you already have these and you are still craving something, then that means you can eat that certain food that you want as long as you eat it mindfully. The last one is staying busy. After all, you want this as a lifestyle, right? That means you want to be able to make these habits over the weekend. Whether that's you eating on a similar times, 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 5 p.m., 7 p.m., and eating at these times week by week so that when you have created these habits, it's gonna feel strange to eat outside of these times. Or second one is creating a routine. Whether that's 2 p.m., you feel bored, and now you're gonna create a new habit of going for a walk at 2 p.m. So these are the 5 things that will be able to help you to break this cycle of doing pretty well throughout the week, but going off plan over the weekend. Again, first one is managing your calories and planning for the week. Second one is letting others know. Third one is eating mindfully. Fourth one is having a low-calorie snacks ready. And last one is staying busy. Hopefully these tips helps. If you got any questions, let me know on my Instagram. Apart from that, keep doing what you're doing and I will see you soon.
In sports now, Lewis Hamilton won the British Grand Prix. And to tell us more about it, here's Ryan Florentino. Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Giancarlo. Thank you once more for having me. Lewis Hamilton revived his Formula One title defense by winning the British Grand Prix after a first-lap crash that left championship leader Max Verstappen complaining he had been taken out. Hamilton responded after the race, saying that he would not be bullied. Roared on by a crowd of more than 140,000, Hamilton attempted to overtake championship leader Verstappen on Cope's corner on the first lap. Verstappen refused to yield, the two touched wheels, and the Red Bull went careening off the track and into the barrier. Hamilton drove on with just a broken wheel rim. From hospital, Verstappen tweeted, "Glad I'm okay," and very disappointed with being taken out like this. His boss, Christian Horner, the Red Bull team principal, had already laid into Hamilton. "That's a hollow victory," replied Horner. Hamilton said after the race that he had felt a lot of anger after the shunt and blamed Verstappen. He quotes, "I would never back down from anyone. I will not be bullied into being less aggressive. We needed the points, he left a gap, and I went for it." Charles Leclerc, riding for Ferrari, grabbed the lead before the race was suspended while crews cleared away the Red Bull and Verstappen was taken to hospital for tests. He said Verstappen was a little winded to say the least, but added there were no injuries apparent at the moment. Stewards imposed a 10-second penalty, the second lightest punishment available to them, on Hamilton, who was still able to chase down Leclerc. US actor Tom Cruise also made an appearance, greeting Mercedes' British driver Lewis Hamilton after the Formula One British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Hamilton's win ended Red Bull's streak of 5 straight victories to cut Verstappen's lead to 8 points. Leclerc finished second, 3.81 seconds back to revive Ferrari's season. The second Mercedes, driven by Finn Valtteri Bottas, who had allowed Hamilton to pass after the penalty, was third ahead of the McLarens of Britain Lando Norris and Australian Daniel Ricciardo. Hamilton took his penalty during a pit stop when running second and came back onto the track in 5th place. Leclerc was disappointed after having victory snatched away, but could still take pride in a strong drive and a first podium finish of the season. Despite the frustration of the events, it will be a story to look back on for Hamilton for future races and his legacy. On to you, Giancarlo.
Thank you so much, Ryan, for giving us that sports update this week.
Thank you, Giancarlo. I am Ryan Florentino, reporting for ENI UK and Europe edition, and we live in interesting times.
Okay, we will end this week's show once again with our view from our window. And today we bring you the beautiful city of Nice, France, an ideal summer European destination. Nice is known to be the 7th most populous urban area in France and is the 2nd largest French city located on the Mediterranean coast. The city is known for its amazing climate, beautiful beaches, and breathtaking coastline with their mesmerizing sights. A perfect place to spend the warmest days of the year. This video is courtesy of Elia Garcia from our France Bureau. Thank you so much for this wonderful view, Elia. Okay, and so that's it for our program this week. We hope you stay safe and keep positive as we continue to bring you more stories next week from the United Kingdom and Europe. I'm Giancarlo Matera, and we live in interesting times.